All right, welcome everyone. Let's jump right into the physical backbone of the internet. In this session, we're going to laser focus on those super common two-mark questions about networking hardware, the ones that always pop up, so you can absolutely nail them in your exams. Ready? Let's get started. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the physical media, the actual pathways data travels on. Then, we'll figure out how to pick the right cable for the job. And finally, we'll get into a head-to-head showdown of all the key networking devices, looking at them just like you would in an exam. Let's do this.
Okay, let's dive straight in. So first things first, let's talk about transmission media. You can think of these as the actual superhighways that our data zooms across.
Now this question, I can almost guarantee you're going to see it on your exam, so pay close attention. We're going to break down exactly how to lock in those two marks.
And this really shows the core difference, doesn't it? On one hand, you have guided media. Think of it like a train on a track. The path is physical, it's contained. On the other hand, you've got unguided media, which is way more like a radio broadcast, just sending signals out through the air.
Okay, and here it is. This is your perfect two-mark answer, laid out plain and simple. Point 1, guided media uses a physical path, like a cable. Unguided uses waves through the air. Got it? Good. Point 2, guided is way more secure because that path is physically contained. Unguided, not so much, because the signals are just broadcast out there. Write those 2 points down and bam, that's full marks.
All right, let's move on. It's one thing to know the definitions, but your exam is going to test if you can actually apply that knowledge. So let's look at some common scenarios.
So imagine you get a question like this. You got to be a detective. What are the key clues? Highest speed and immune to interference. What technology immediately comes to mind?
Of course, it's fiber optic cable. And the reason why is it's pretty cool. It doesn't use electricity to send data. It uses pulses of light. That's the secret sauce. Since it's light, it's totally immune to electrical interference, which lets it be unbelievably fast.
Okay, so what about the flip side? Let's look at a different scenario. Now the keywords are cost-effective, so cheap, and short distance. What are we thinking now?
Yep, you guessed it, twisted pair cable. This is that classic network cable you see plugged into computers in your school lab or office. Why is it everywhere in LANs? It's simple, really. It's inexpensive, and it's easy to work with. That makes it the go-to practical choice for connecting everything up in a small area.
So, we've laid down the roads, the physical cables. Now we need the traffic lights and the police officers, the devices that actually control the flow of all that data.
First up, the router. We all have one of these blinking boxes in our homes, right? But what does it actually do? And here's a hint. Its main job isn't just about Wi-Fi.
Okay, here's the absolute key takeaway. A router's number one job is to connect different networks. It's like the diplomat or the bridge between your own little private network at home, your LAN, and the huge public network that is the internet. It looks at the IP address on every piece of data and acts like a postal worker, making sure your request gets to Google and that Google's reply gets back to your laptop, not your roommate's phone.
And now it's time for the device versus device showdown. We're going to go rapid fire through the most common comparison questions that love to show up on exams. So, get ready.
All right, first up in the ring, the hub versus the switch. This is probably the most common comparison you'll ever see. They might look like similar plastic boxes with a bunch of ports, but believe me, how they work is night and day.
So before we even look at the table, let's get the key concept down. The entire difference between these two boils down to one thing: intelligence. It's all about how they handle the data that comes in. One is smart, and the other, well, not so much.
And this just lays it out perfectly. A hub is basically a loudmouth. It gets a piece of data and just shouts it out to every single device connected to it. Super inefficient, right? A switch, on the other hand, is intelligent. It's like a whisper. It knows exactly where the data needs to go and sends it only to that one specific device. So yeah, one is a dumb broadcaster, the other is a smart forwarder.
Okay, next up is a comparison that sometimes catches people out. Repeater versus gateway. They both deal with data transmission, but what they do is completely different.
The key concept here is to think about what their job is and where they do it. Think of it this way. One is just a signal booster, a simple amplifier. The other is a sophisticated translator.
So here's your two-mark answer. First, a repeater is a simple physical device. Its only job is to take a weak signal, clean it up, and boost it so it can travel further. That's it. A gateway, however, is much more complex. It works at higher levels to connect two totally different networks that speak different languages. And that brings us to point 2. The repeater is dumb. It doesn't read the data, it just strengthens the signal. But the gateway is smart. It's a translator. It can actually convert data from one protocol to another, acting as the gateway between two different worlds.
And for our final comparison, let's tackle the big ones, the different types of networks themselves, specifically LAN versus WAN.
To get your full marks on this, you just need to hit 2 key points. First, the most obvious one, geographical area. LAN, local area network, is small. Think a single building or a campus. WAN, wide area network, is huge. We're talking across cities, countries, even continents. Second is ownership. A LAN is usually private, owned by one company or school. A WAN, like the internet, is a shared thing, with infrastructure owned by lots of different organizations. Nail those 2 points, and you're golden.
So now you know all about the hardware, the physical stuff that makes networks tick. But what about the rules of the road? That wraps up our look at networking hardware. In Part 5, we look at the logic of the web, network topologies, protocols, and cybersecurity. You are not going to want to miss it.